roster. No, but they're coming in with a new roster here, and they want to make this work. They are actually running 5 foreign players who are all playing in a gaming house. They all reside in the UK, and they want to make it work. They've invested a lot into this roster, and at the moment, yes, they look like they're going to qualify for the playoffs, but not the strongest team, and they want to change people's opinions, so they want to have a dominating win here, as we saw against M&M, a repeat of that.
Same conversation as what we were talking about with the Hyperion versus Misfits games. This is the kind of game that should be very one-sided. This should be a good win for exceL, assuming that they are continuing to improve, and that, like, looking at standings alone, that is what should come out here.
Yep.
Bans already coming across the board here, exCaNtrol.
Yeah, Vro has drawn the LeBlanc ban. No surprises there. The guy absolutely crushed with it. It gave the Razor Governors team their first win when Vro got given that particular champion. So interesting that we've seen very lax jungle bans coming out here. Nothing really prioritizing the jungle for either squad, which is going to give Taxa and Speedy the pick of the litter.
Yeah.
And that means Razor Governors get their first choice.
I think it's, well, I'm guessing the Warwick pick is a jungle ban. I don't know too much about Speedy, but Governor, he isn't someone to play Warwick. They are going to lock in the Skarner. It does leave Olaf over the exceL. And that's the thing. We saw in other games so many jungle bans. But if you leave them all open, then, you know, both sides are going to get strong junglers, and they just left with that situation. exceL obviously favouring these mid lane bans with the Galio and LeBlanc, and on the other side, Razor Governors banning away these 280 carries. And one of the huge things about this is we've seen 2 bot lanes be very dominant in competitive play. Zyra Khan, the obvious one, gets picked together, hugely successful. But one that's more recent is something Fnatic dominated, which was the Caitlyn Morgana, which is very devastating. So takes those both away. And we're actually going to see Kremel
gets his Tilia.
Which is something that last split was heavily banned away from him.
I mean, we've seen quite a lot of bans this split against him for the Tilia.
When we saw Kremel, I think the first time I ever saw Kremel was the Challenger Series qualifiers last year. And the research that I was doing on Kremel back at the time was like, he's a Tilia one-trick. So it was, he's a very, very good Tilia player. We also get the Varus locked in, which is interesting because Venza's been performing on Tristana very heavily recently. But Varus, I think, is just such an excellent AD carry on this current patch, 8.4 that we're playing on, not 8.5 as things have been changed a little bit. But
and I think this says what exceL wants to do. They're picking these more early game focused champions. Talia obviously has the Roman pressure. They do get the Olaf as well. This is a very early game focused comp. They want to make things happen. Whereas on the other side, Razor Governors have a Tristana and a Cassiopeia, absolute scaling. And it's something we've seen consistently throughout today is that teams are going for certain styles when they match up, and they're like, this is our win condition, this is our win condition, and both are going to try and meet them.
It's very rarely today that we've seen 2 teams go for the same win conditions.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you just see both teams go for scale and comps, and it's like, wait until 50 minutes, see who wins that one team fight, right?
I like the Sion ban because really interesting. Sion just hasn't really featured in any of our UK games so far, I don't think.
Kind of been ignored a bit, at least compared to in competitive. We've seen such a high pick and ban rate across all regions. Not being noticed too much. They are going to ban away the Tom Kench, offers a lot of safety to the Varus. Another thing I could see them banning away is the Braum. Varus Braum is not quite on the tier of more Kate or Zyra Khan, but a very high tier bot lane. Lots of CC and protection for the Varus.
Interesting, I want to pick up on the Olaf pick for here for Taxa, because it is something that Taxa plays. We've seen Taxa play it in the past quite a lot, and it will be our first kind of entry into the foray of junglers that aren't your general tanky engaged junglers. This is a jungler that has a specific play style, and needs to be aggressive to make it work.
Absolutely. I mean, Taxa is someone who particularly enjoys aggressive junglers when they are in the meta, was someone who played a lot of Lee Sin back when that was a champ that was viable a long time ago. Obviously, recently, we've seen him on champions like Zac, we've seen him on we've seen him on these tanky junglers, but because of the changes of the Tracker's Knife, we've sort of moved more towards these fighter bruiser champions. I mean, yes, Olaf is a tank, but he has more fighting power. And it's interesting to see whether he'll excel on these as he has in the others. We are actually seeing a Fiora ban.
Does that make you feel like they want to go for a Governor, Maokai or Shen top lane, like to make sure that you just don't get that counter of Fiora because they've got that counter pick last?
It could well be. I mean, it does free up a lot of tanks. I think one of the things is Governor is very renowned for playing pure tanks top lane. So I think it's just getting rid of a counter pick. Sendu is someone who is more confident. Formerly played for G2V in Spain and is quite a player with quite some pedigree. So obviously not wanting to give him a super
he's got Gnar,
counterable matchup.
Like he plays Gnar to a T, and Gnar is up. And we've seen Sendu crush people on Gnar this split already.
Yeah, I mean, I think, it is on this patch, the Frozen Mountain nerfs.
Yeah, I mean, he got slightly nerfed. They have toned him down a bit. I think in a Cho'Gath, I mean, I don't know, he might take something that offers a split push. We haven't commented on the Morgana pick, which is interesting.
Braum is something that Duel does favour, but in this situation, they've decided to switch it out for the Morgana.
I mean, think about the terrifying combination of bindings, right?
The follow-up on CC, similar to the Caitlyn. Obviously, Caitlyn can do it with the traps. Varus can do it with simply with his ultimate. But it's something that also means no matter what Razor Governors pick, if they pick the Braum isn't great into Morgana, you can't pop the shield. They do actually opt for the Taric. I think that's a smart decision because it's not just about landing the CC on Taric. The ult is very impactful. Darius, however, we've actually seen this.
We saw that last night. Was it last night?
Pulled away.
The night before?
We saw it. We saw it. Rifty played it, right?
Someday played it in
the
LCS.
Someday played it in the NELCS, and it's good as a counter to these immobile tanks. It did get a slight buff, but just you can build up the stacks and
you can snowball really hard as well.
But we're talking about picks that didn't get locked in. Unfortunately, Sendu went for the safer option of the Shen. I mean, the situation is, yes, he's not going to snowball top as hard, but he's clearly saying, I want my team to win. My Olaf's going to run in, I'm going to ult him, he's playing for the team, and this is a very early game focused comp. This composition wants to get going early, and it wants to snowball, as we've seen Misfits compositions did, and as we saw Eminem's composition attempt to do and fail. Yeah. On the other side, Razor Governor's extremely good scaling. Governor is going to be a super tank on this Cho'Gath late game. Skarner isn't going to be as tanky, but the CC he can offer is devastating. If he manages to get an ult on a target, even if Olaf ult expires, you can pull him in, and then these two scaling hyper carries. So exceL definitely want to close this out early. Yeah, I completely agree. I think if you get to a team fight situation versus Governors in the late game as exceL, you've done something wrong. Yeah. And I think, you know, you get to a Cassiopeia Tristana running amok in a team fight with the protection of a Skarner who can isolate a target that might try to dive them or isolate a target that they want to blow up. You have Cho'Gath providing a lot of disruption and Taric who's going to give you that immune buff. You know, you just don't get to late game team fights and win versus this composition. And that's why I think the Taric pick is just so great because exceL's comp is very much we're going to go in and it's quite hard to disengage. If you're an Olaf, you don't want to ult and run away. It just makes you a bit redundant. And the Taric ult is so good for that because if you don't kill that target before the invulnerability comes down, and especially for Cassiopeia, who wants to stand her ground in a lot of ways in team fights. So you put the ultimate on her. She's not going to escape an Olaf in a lot of ways because he's going to get through her ultimate, all that kind of stuff, right? So she wants to have a way to stand her ground and start getting... Just trying out DPS him. Yeah, she wants to be able to stand there and just spam those fangs, spam those poisons. So yeah, I think having the Taric on board, if timed correctly, can be very influential into mid-lane, late-game team fights. But what exceL needs to do is snowball lanes. They need to snowball their lanes, get out of control, make this Morgana Varus lane really have a presence against the Taric because they should be able to shove in like really hard the Varus Morgana. They should be able to put pressure on a Taric Tristana lane in the early game. They need to snowball things though. It's definitely on exceL, especially Taxa, to get the ball rolling. All right, we'll have to see if that is going to happen for them. Taxa, a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and exceL, this is a team currently 3-3, I believe, going into this game. So wanting to turn that into a positive win-loss ratio there. I believe they are now 4-3. They're 4-3 because they beat Eminem, didn't they? So 4-3, but maybe can turn that into 5-3 here today. Razor Governors, however, desperate to get a win on the board. They could overtake their opponents on the table in terms of Hyperion if they could win this game. Yeah, I think in terms of placement, this is much more influential for Razor Governors because I think now with Misfits 7-1, I don't think exceL can catch them, and there's no way they can catch them. And I think it's very unlikely. I think it's impossible for them to fall third. I think they are very securely in second, whereas for Razor Governors, this is huge. This one win could put them ahead of Hyperion potentially for the rest of the split and put them into that third playoff spot. But that's the thing, exceL are not going to give this up easily because although there's not much in terms of placements on the line, they want to make a message. They want to send a message to the rest of the teams. We're here for business, like they did in the Eminem game. We're here to win. And I think they need to send that message. I think they need to have a convincing win because, you know, how much time do you give a team to gel together, like Orcs was saying? Absolutely. Well, we are going to be jumping on into the game. Thank you once again, exScoundrel, for joining us on the desk. But it is time to kick things off and find out whether exceL will be able to find that victory that they're looking for, if they'll be able to send that message and make things happen here, or whether Razor Governors going to be able to put a stick in the works against them. Obviously, exceL are the favourites coming on in. They are the team with more wins under their belt and, you know, theoretically more resources at their disposal, but we'll see if that is going to be the case here as we jump onto the Rift. Very standard start, nobody doing anything too crazy at level 1. Yeah, got to be a bit careful. exceL have a lot of pick potential. Once Olaf lands one axe, very easy from the follow-up. And also a Morgana binding, not something you want to run in an early game. And Governors sensibly playing respectful. Yeah, I think that the combination of CC on the side of exceL is actually
pretty terrifying when you think about it. Like, if you get caught out by that Morgana, there's Undertows that'll come through, Shen taunts, Camille can get his knock-up off of it. You got Venza's ultimate as well. There is so much... Oh, that nearly just happened as I'm talking about it. Brown nearly gets hit. We'll be able to walk away here.
I mean, the flash is good because it saved him, but he shouldn't have really been in that position. exceL going for the grade here, and this is what you want to see to get this Olaf into an early lead. Denying Skarner's red means he's going to struggle to get his ganks off early. Yes, he has his stun, but he doesn't have the extra damage with the red buff, doesn't have the extra slow.
Yeah.
Looks like, I mean, he's taking his blue, but he's not confident enough to contest Olaf's red, and he's just going to return farm this jungle. So big advantage for exceL. They got the flash mid lane, and that's actually really unfortunate if you're Cassiopeia. Someone who's immobile and can be punished by this Olaf running into your lane. One of the big spikes of both junglers as well is being able to pick up boots and the smite. The smite obviously giving a lot of utility. You have red smite for damage, or you have blue smite for the slow. I'm suspecting Olaf will go towards red smite. He already has enough slows. Skarner, it depends. You could go for red smite for dueling. Blue smite offers an ease getting in range to land your ult. But both want to get those boots because both are running Predator. Once you get the boots, you can use the active, give you that speed for ganking.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can easily be the difference between a kill or just a flash. We'll have to see whether that's going to come into play here. And I'm interested to see that Speedy didn't go for that red buff because, I mean, I don't feel like it was likely for Taxa to just run straight across through the middle of the map to get to his red buff and try and defend it. Maybe would have been able to get away with it, but perhaps just not willing to, like, if that does end up happening, Speedy's not going to win that 1v1, and that's where it starts to get really...
I think it's not just the 1v1, but you have a Talia on the other side mid who's going to be able to shove in, and then your Cassiopeia has no flash. You do not want to take a jungle fight early on when your mid laner has no flash, because if she gets caught out, she's dead. And I think it sucks. Don't get me wrong, it really sucks when you lose your red buff as a jungler, but he doesn't want to give up more.
Yeah, it doesn't suck as much as losing your red and your life, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Does look for a gank bot lane. And this is the strength of this Morgana pick. Doesn't even have to use the Black Shield there, just gets the binding. And this is the difficulty for these tanks of Skarner and Cho'Gath is, I mean, there's a lot of CC. It's hard to get through, particularly the Cho'Gath. When he becomes huge later in the game, sometimes that's an asset, but sometimes that's going to hold you back when you're trying to sidestep bindings.
Yeah, being absolutely massive does mean that you're a very easy target for Morgana. Taxa maybe wanting to go towards this top side of the map, just hiding from vision right now.
Can't use the blast plant because the spawn got moved later on this patch, but does get in anyway.
Oh, Governor will take one axe. I don't know how much he'll be able to pull off with this one. Good damage, actually. Oh my goodness, the true damage coming out from Taxa there was massive.
Yeah, huge amount. Red buff as well, showing how useful it is in the early game. And Governor, I mean, he played it as well as he could. He tried to get the Q to interrupt the taunt. That possibly could have saved his flash, but I think in that situation, you're almost always going to have to flash. And unfortunately, no, it looks like he's just going to walk up and save his TP. A smart decision for his team, but a really unfortunate decision for him personally. Going to put him a bit of CS behind in the top lane. And we can actually see CS differences across the board. Ooh, Speedy coming in mid.
Aptly named Speedy there, charging across the lane. But this is going to be a pretty fine trade, honestly, for Kremel.
Yeah, and it puts Kremel in an awkward position because he's just used quite a bit of mana, and I think he was looking for a reset there. He now has to shove another wave. Not the best situation to be in. Both junglers actually opting for the red smite. We said there was a bit of options on Skarner, but we saw the amount of speed he had there. Don't think he really needs to slow as much. Once the extra true damage bin, and it's also going to help dueling against Taxa.
Yeah, for sure. If he does find himself in that kind of 1v1 scenario, we'll see how that's going to pan out. Across the board so far, everything fairly even between these guys. No one with any crazy CS leads or anything like that. Obviously, we do see a bit of a lead for Taxa right now in the jungle, but it's not so significant that you can really call it a massive advantage. We're
just getting bits here and there. A couple in the top lane, about 15 actually in the mid lane, so a fair amount, and then just under 10 bot lane. There are small advantages. You do want to see that when you play in this early game composition, but it's nothing to really write home about yet.
Absolutely not. Sendu up in this top lane should be able to get a little bit of a CS lead off of all of these minions, assuming he's good at CSing under tower, which you would certainly hope so.
Play of his caliber. Does miss that one because he got silenced, wasn't able to use an empowered Q.
I love how we're going to like microcast his CSing now. The limelight is on Sandu.
One.
It's going to go down. Oh, disaster.
Yep, got that one. Doing good. Really solid work.
Got the majority. He's got the majority.
Yeah, that one was... The turret just did too much damage, though.
That's the problem with turrets, inconsistent damage, you know. Oh, wait, hang on. Here we go, though. We've got a Bromacia charging into the top lane. Governor, he's going to be taunted. Nice little taunt there from Sendu. That is going to be first blood in the end for Sendu. He makes up for the CS he missed by taking a champion kill instead.
Yeah, really great play. You can see Sendu's going towards the Tiamat. He's now got pressure in his lane. Tiamat's going to give him shovel power. That's what you want for your Shen. It means he's going to be free to ult whenever he wants. Taxi's doing exactly what he needs to do in this Olaf, showing that, you know, he's happy to play this aggressive pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to reward exceL with a blue buff. I mean, this is what you want as solo laners. You give your top laner a kill, your mid laner a blue buff. I mean, it's Christmas for exceL.
Yeah, and Taxa kind of going to the opposite of his name right now. He even stopped DPSing so Sendu could get that kill onto the top laner. He's donating buffs. There's barely any Tax going in any direction right now, but
good read from Governors to take on the opposing side. Unfortunately...
Oh no! Oh, that is a sad, sad situation for the Governors right there.
Yeah, well...
how did that even happen?
I think Speedy was trying to hold it. He was like, he didn't want to take it himself, because, I mean, the whole point is you want to give it to your mid laner. And then Jules stole it, but looks like they... Oh, I feel so bad for him.
Governor, you're in trouble, my friend. He is going to be going down here. That one's taken in the end by Taxa. exceL with a nice three-man play in the top lane. They're just abusing these advantages that they've taken for themselves and already looking terrifying. 2,000 gold lead.
And they've picked up on this so quickly. I think we saw it took a bit longer for Misfits to get this going. But we see Governors have a Tristana, quite hard to punish, very mobile, whereas on the other side they have this Cho'Gath. And they're not giving him any room. First gank, blew his flash, second gank, killed him, third gank with Atilia's help, killed him again. And the thing is, what can Governors do? If you try and make a play bot lane, Shen's going to ult. It's so hard.
I think the real question for this team right now is when your name is Raise Your Governors and Governor isn't being raised up, where can you go? Where can you go at that state?
Very true. Well, maybe Speedy can grab some mobility boosts and just zoom around the map and make things work that way, playing to namesakes.
Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed on the mobility boosts.
Something I did want to talk about is the Morgana pick. Seen a lot more play recently.
Oh, here we go. exceL is in a lot of trouble right here. That's going to be ult from Speedy. I'm not sure the ult was actually necessary there. And here comes an unstoppable Taxa. That is terrifying what he is doing to these players. Speedy is in a whole heap of trouble. No flash available. This is going to be a double kill for the Olaf. Taxa is running away with this game.
We were just talking about the ult from Speedy. Definitely was needed. Sendu actually burnt his Stand United. Didn't get a clear visual off it because it got bursted through so fast. So good execution from Governors to really 100% commit to the kill.
Sendu's ultimate was actually on Taxa.
Was it?
Yeah, I think that went down after exceL died, I believe, and then they just cancelled it. They just wanted the shield.
You can't cancel your own one, though.
Or maybe Governor knocked it. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Taxa, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Might be able to see in a replay, but regardless, good aggressive play to get the kill on exceL, but this Olaf is so strong. Wait, we'll be able to see here.
Let's take a look.
So they go...
Yeah, so he does go down, and then...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. So, gonna be honest, a bit of a misplay from exceL. Stand United might have saved exceL there. Bit of miscommunication.
It might have been like, oh, hang on, here we go, stun coming on through. And Jewel actually using his ultimate as well, but that is going to keep... Oh, look at the root. That is so much CC!
God.
That is so hard! How do you deal with that, man?
You don't. You just...
Oh, good. Oh. What is happening right now? We went from like a completely even game to exceL just doing whatever they want, whenever they want.
Right, I mean, I can understand what happened bot lane, but you should not be dying 1v1 top lane as a Cho'Gath against a Shen. That is...
There's like almost disdain in your voice right there.
That is not promising for Governors. That is not the sort of... I mean, we say about these wet noodle fights top lane. To be fair, Shen does have a fair amount of damage in his kit, but still, you don't want your tank dying solo, and it just shows the control exceL have over this game. Solid plays across the board. Yeah, I mean, Testament though, there was, well not Testament, but there was that one misplay from Sendu not getting the ult on Crumel in time. The benefit of being in a gaming house is once Crumel dies, you can sort of give Sendu a punch and be like, why didn't you ult me?
Yeah. That instant feedback on misplays.
So hopefully that won't happen next time. The thing I did want to comment about before was the thing that's seen Rise is Glacial Augment Morgana. And it's not, I mean, you don't pick it for the auto attacks, you pick it because you can get Twin Shadows and... I was thinking I was going to get interrupted again. Well, I mean, the auto attack slows kind of useful, but it's not why you take it. A big thing you do is you pick up this Twin Shadows from the new AP items, and when the ghosts catch, they put down the slow field, and the pick potential is just insane. And with a composition like exceL's, this is exactly what they want to do. You pop the Twin Shadows, the Olaf's going to pop Predator and run them down, and then you have Crumel and Sendu to collapse. And something we didn't go into detail about before is the 1-3-1 from exceL is just exceptional. So hard to engage on that 3-man with the Olaf and the Morgana because they can block the CC. And we can see they're just showing it. They're free to walk wherever, taking the blue buff away, and
Speedy actually got that in the end with a smite, but in the meantime, Snuggly has gone down. Actually, that was a double kill. That was just a straight 2v2 coming out from exceL. 6,000 is the gold lead right now. This is very rapidly falling apart for the Governors.
Yeah, I mean, because we said exceL started off with some good play from Taxa, making things work, but Taxa's not doing much at the moment. Governor died solo to Sendu Shen, and then bot lane just died 2v2. Not only did they die the first time, but they just got double killed. And, I mean, even the game before, yes, it was clean for Misfits, but from a macro point of view, this game just looks dominating from sheer outplay. exceL are...
Yeah, this isn't just like outmaneuvering your opponent and like good CS numbers and things. This is just like, I mean, finding 2v2s. Here we go though, 3v2 down in the bottom lane. Maybe this is what they need. Stan United comes through though. Jewel getting a 3-man ultimate. Now Vrau has arrived, but everybody's still alive. Look at the ult from Crumel. The turnaround from exceL. Oh my goodness, that is disgusting.
And that is why the composition works so well. If you make that play on the 2-man, Venza was caught off guard a little. It doesn't matter. Sendu comes in with his ult, keeps him alive, and then Krumel's wall was just amazing. It cut off the rest of Governors. There were 5 people there who weren't able to do anything, and they end up losing Speedy, who unfortunately wasn't able to run away.
Yeah, despite his name getting caught out there. Not speedy enough, my friends.
Very true.
This is already getting real scary now, because take a look at Venza. 4-0-0. He's got himself a Rage Blade. He's even on QSS because he's against a Skarner, so he's not going to get shut down anytime soon. And now he can start to build that attack speed and just... I'm struggling to... I'm struggling to see this. I mean, obviously, the Governors, they've got a late game composition, right? That is the way that they win this game, but I don't know whether we're going to get to the late game.
Yeah, it's really looking difficult right now. I mean, we've seen Varus in a lot of games today. Wow, all that damage.
Yikes.
We've seen Varus in a lot of games today, and he's struggled quite a bit, just with getting the right item spikes. But now, not only has he got the Ginsu's Rage Blade, which is a huge spike, but he's also invested in the QSS. And this is something that is really popular in Korea. I mean, particularly in the Kalista meta. A Kalista would, even before Blade of the Ruined King was finished, pick up QSS if there was a threat to her, like a Malzahar. And we're seeing it from Venza. He knows he has enough damage. The Ginsu's is full of damage for him, but he needs to stay alive. And even with Jewel, with the Black Shield, he knows that, yes, there are situations you can get CC'd where Jewel isn't there or the Black Shield's expired, and he knows that Governors really don't stand any chance that they can't get on top of him.
Yeah, here we go. Speedy's in trouble now. The Undertows are just relentless. The slow coming out from them. Binding won't quite connect, and Jewel and Taxa are going to decide to back away. Actually, Jewel getting ulted on in here, really committing, and they are going to get a kill onto the Morgana there. In the meantime, Venza's trying to push this mid tower. Not going to be able to find that. Nice pickup there from Governors. They finally get a kill for themselves.
Yeah, I have just seen Jewel after that death picked up a no magic mantle. I think he might get a QSS.
That would be hilarious if that actually comes on through. Sendu taking a good chunk of damage, but able to block a lot of it as well. In the meantime, Crumel has been pushing in that bottom lane, by the way. Just shoved a couple of waves underneath that turret. Now Venza, despite the fact that exceL were the team that lost a player there, they're still the ones putting on the pressure. They're still the ones finding objectives here.
Absolutely. I mean, the issue was Governors did get the play, but they had to move 4 members there. Meanwhile, exceL was pushing top and bottom. Once they got the kill, they had to go and deal with those waves. And in return, exceL can shove in.
Well, here we go. Blast Cone is available, so that is going to be a nice, easy escape for Sendu. Well played by him to get himself out of that situation.
Very ninja-like, getting them with these getaways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very, very apt character for him, managing to slide away with the Shadow Dash. I want to take a look at the gold leads if it's all possible here, because this is starting to get a little bit disgusting. Look at the AD carry difference right now, 2,000 gold, and in the jungle, it's 1.5, 1,350 gold difference as well. But then when you look at top
lane, it's nearly 3,000. And I mean, this is the thing is, and it's an Infernal Drake as well. This is not good for Governors. I mean, the thing is, yes, gold leads on tanks aren't the most important thing. You obviously want more for gold lead on like your AD carry. But when Sendu is that strong and has a 2-level lead, it's not just that Governors carries are weaker. They're trying to kill this even tankier Shen, and it's just so difficult. Tax has now finished his Righteous Glory, given even more engage speed.
As if he needed it.
Yeah, very true.
Here we go. The siege begins with the Rift Herald here. Premel's ultimate will come on through just to make sure that they can grab that turret for themselves. Herald getting a little bit confused about the wall that's in the way. We'll be able to get a little bit of damage onto the inhibitor tower as well, but my goodness, exceL just giving us an example of what utter control looks like this game. 8,000 is the gold lead at just 20 minutes into the game. Governor has to flash himself to safety there on the Cho'Gath. As the siege begins in the top lane, there's a root, there's a taunt, and there's a kill going on through. Snuggly will survive. Gets his ultimate off to keep him and Governor alive, but another pick comes on through, and now this is going to be another turret.
It's like, in that situation, I'm like, okay, Governors did well, only Speedy died. But that's how dire things are. The fact that they're not dying, the entire team isn't dying, I'm like, okay, it could have gotten worse. But things are so dire already. It's so difficult to see them winning a fight. They are now 10k goal behind, and it's not even 20 minutes yet.
Yeah, this is a dicey situation, and you have to wonder for the side of Governors, they're going to be still a little bit all right, because you know at the end of the day, they're not going to fall behind Hyperion just yet. They're still tied on points if they lose this game, so it's not. They're still in the running, despite the fact that this is very likely a loss for them. So hopefully, morale-wise in the team, they're still not going to be too hard on themselves.
The issue is though, you're not looking necessarily to challenge exceL, at least not yet. You know that Hyperion are who you're up against. You've just seen Hyperion play. They had the game against Wind and Rain. They put up a fight. And then even against Misfits, yes, it was controlling for Misfits, but it wasn't as one-sided as this. If you're Governors right now, you've just made this roster change with Speedy, and I'm not putting this on him. Everyone struggled across the board, but he's just looked like a fish out of water here, and exceL just looks dominant. And the thing is as well, Misfits and Wind and Rain are both top in their groups. exceL aren't, and you can compliment how they played this game, and you can say, yes, they're improving, but still, it's a fact that Hyperion have had harder opponents, and they've looked better.
Yeah, that has to be said, and there is a dicey situation for the likes of Governors, but we'll see as the season continues whether they can somehow pull this together. It's not looking good. Look at the double promote. The mage minions pushing the tower. They actually do good damage as well. Sendu, in the meantime, just trying to play distraction. I actually got a good amount of damage done to the turret. Not anything to write home about, but in the meantime, the rest of the team, they're trying to bait this Baron. They probably would have been more successful if they just got the Baron, but here we go. All of the CC onto Speedy. They used everything immediately to make that kill happen. 2 ultimates and a bind come on through, and now they should be able to grab themselves a Baron for free.
I mean, this is extremely clean. They know what the goal is. They had no plan to ever start Baron. They sweep the area completely, and they wait for Speedy to face check. He did, and they used the CC they had so effectively. Took him out. Jungler, no threat for smite. And the thing is, the 3-man couldn't challenge because they know Shen has the ult as well. It's so hard to move in on the Baron, and Shen is level 14 to a level 11 Cho'Gath. And they're now 12k gold ahead, 2 dragons, 5-tower lead, and they now have this banner battle, and there is the banner minion. I mean, we said they had an early game composition.
Yeah.
They're making it work.
This is leads on leads on leads on leads coming on through here for exceL. Now, with this Bannon minion, as they've been calling it on the LCS, this is going to be chunking on through the inhibitor. A couple more shots is going to be doing that one in the end. And, well, nice, easy advantages taken away. In the meantime, there's another banner minion down in the bottom lane. And the rest of exceL are going to head towards mid. We could see 3 inhibitors going down at 22 minutes. That is unbelievable.
And it just shows exceL's adaptation in this meta is just excellent. We've seen a variety of comps come out today, late game and early game. exceL drafted an extremely early game focused composition. They went into this knowing they would lose the scaling war, and they planned to just win before that became an issue. And they have. They knew what to do early, they knew where to make the plays, and then you had to snowball the game. And you can now see they have 3 banners of commands across their team. I mean, we said earlier today is that this is a huge point that we haven't seen be used quite as much in the UK scene. exceL clearly are making use of this. And this is the sort of, yeah, this is the sort of thing that we said, you know, you have a game in-house, you need to show that it's working for you. They're playing extremely well as a team, and then they're up to date on the strategies, and they're making effective use of them. Yes, Ratio Governors are one of the weaker teams, but I mean, they're making them look gold.
Yeah, there's a difference between one of the weaker teams and this level of domination coming out from a squad right now. exceL look awesome, and using these banners beautifully. This is going to be another tower going down unless we can see something magical coming out from the Governors. In the meantime, the banner's still pushing, by the way. That is going to be Speedy dropping. I don't think anything can happen here. The Governors are going to be falling. The gold lead is just far too much. Triple kill comes on through. Can he make it a quadra? The answer is yes. No penta, though, unfortunately, but it is going to be the quadra coming through for Venza. There is going to be the end hit dropping, and this is going to be the game.
Yeah, I've got to respect the decision from Governors. They knew the game was going to end very quickly if they didn't do something. They go for the engage, but they are just so far behind, and that is the most dominating performance I think we've seen this entire split.
Yeah, I mean, 23.5-minute victory coming out for exceL. Almost 20,000 gold ahead. Almost 1,000 gold ahead per minute in the game.